Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel, Orcs Head Magic, and it's Jordan here, and welcome to another Deck Tech Tuesday, and this is a little bit of a special one that we're going to be doing, ladies and gentlemen, because I've been inspired by an upcoming deck that I'm doing for a challenge. That's more to come later on down the line in Ugan's Insight, so stay tuned for that. And I actually thought about this and was a bit inspired. And I thought, well, yeah, let's make a little mini-series out of it. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a mini-series within the Deck Tech Tuesday of budget modern decks. And I know, before you'll say it, but Jordan, aren't all non-tier 1 decks technically budget decks? Yeah, I'm actually looking more down sort of the really low levels is what we're talking about. Obviously, but instead of just doing sort of a basic budget deck tech, I'm actually going to be doing on the general archetypes of Magic, such as Merfolk, Tron, Death and Taxes, Company, various other decks like that that are well established in Modern and people know them. I'm going to be taking the archetype and trying to strip it back and maybe go down a sub route of it, so such as maybe looking into a different sub creature type within a Merfolk deck, maybe a Merfolk Shaman deck or something like that of that nature. I mean, this series has really been inspired from Saffron Olive's great work over on the Budget Magic he does, so certainly go check him out. But some other great guys who've recently inspired me are Pleasant Kenobi and TotalMTG, two of my homeboys in the UK. These guys spend a lot of time and effort on their decks, and they do come up with some brilliant ones, guys. So highly recommend, if you haven't subscribed to them already, please go check them out. I'll put links in the description to their channels below. And so let's just get straight into our first one. And this time I'm going to be looking at Elves. As I said, I was inspired by this challenge video I've got coming up soon. And so basically what I'll do is I'll discuss what the archetype is in Modern with Elves and what line they go down and how they win, and then I'm going to go into my deck and what happens. So Elves is a deck that's played very fast, very quick, can be aggressive, and actually can win the long game technically as well. The deck itself wants to try and get mana dogs out early. It then goes into things such as Nettle Sentinels, which obviously do not look great on sort of a card face. But the fact is that you can cast enough green spells by using Heritage Druids, for example, to tap your Elves to create more mana, which in turn allows you to catch more Elves, which then in turn actually allows you to generate more mana. It gets ridiculous how quick you can speed out this deck, and literally generally most Elf opponents I have faced can get themselves empty-handed by turn 5 quite easily. With recent sets that have come out, funnily enough, Shaper's Sanctuary is actually seeing play in the deck, because it allows, obviously, when creatures are getting removed, because most boards do have main deck removal, they will target the Lords, and of course you at least get some card draw out of it. So there is massive benefits to playing this deck. But the one downfall it's got is the price. It's sort of, most average sort of Elf decks come in around $500. Main reason why is because they run some very expensive cards, mainly notably Heritage Druid comes in there at quite a high price. Cavern of Souls to play up against the control matchup so they can get through. You'll see things also in the sideboard such as like Heroic Interventions to stop board wipes and various things of that nature. And if they are splashing colours such as white, they get Paths, or even black, they get Fatal Push, so the list goes on and on. So the deck can get very expensive very quickly in terms of sort of $500, or looking maybe around about 300 ticks depending on how you build it. My deck that I've built is going down a sub-route of the Elves, which was Elf Warriors. Now, this isn't as quick as the standard deck, but it is rather fun, and it comes in at literally just under $70 paper, which is astounding for Modern. Or if you're going to play this online, this is literally just a smidge over 12 ticks, which is fantastic value. I mean, the fact is you can pick up and play this for just over $12 in Modern on Magic Online is insane. So, without further ado, let's get straight into the deck tech. So, Elf Warriors. Basically, coming in at the creature basis is obviously heavy emphasis on the Warrior Tribal as well as Elf Tribal. And so we got Lords in there, we got various things of that nature. So, to begin with, I'm running this round because it is a warrior tribal deck. We are running the Obsidian Battle Axe. From anyone who's really watched some of my older videos, I did do a Legacy Warriors deck tech, which was just a fun deck tech, and I love this card. This also made one of the top 10 videos for the Creators Challenge, which is also sweet. And the fact is that a quick creature gets +2/+1 and has haste, and basically whenever a warrior creature enters the battlefield, you can attach it for free. Bargain all day long, so it is really sweet. Other artifacts that we are running also from the new Ixalan set is the Vanquisher's Banner. Benefit with this artifact is that not only do we can boost up the elf or even warrior if we want to be really picky, but whenever we cast a creature spell with the chosen type, we also get a card draw engine off it as well. And speaking of card draw, from the previous elf deck, as I did mention, we are running a couple of Shaper Sanctuary. Benefit with this is that whenever a creature we control becomes a target of spell or ability, we get to draw a card, and the benefit is it's a 1 mana. This is a turn 1 play all day long quite nicely. Moving on from there, that is all the spells that we have and various things of that nature. All the rest of it is a creature synergy because we have gone heavy tribal. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the creatures. In the 1-drop slot, we are running Narnam Renegade and Twin Blade Slasher. Reasons why I'm running more of the Slasher than the Renegade is I find the Slasher gets in for a bit more damage, and also it can knock down creatures such as Grixis Death Shadow and Goyf's. It is sort of a pseudo Death Touch. The fact is that they get negative every 1 counters is really sweet. The Renegade itself, obviously, it does come in with Death Touch, and if you can manage to Revolt trigger, you can also get some beneficial out of that, but we do have other ways of getting 1/1 counter synergies going on the board. Moving on into the 2-drop slot, we have Dwinian's Elite and Wen's Run Vanquisher. The Elite comes in, it's 2 mana and you get 3 power across 2 bodies, one being a 2/2 and a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. And Wren's Run Vanquisher is a 3/3 for 2 mana, but additional cost, you either got to pay 3 mana or you got to reveal an elf card, and it also has Death Touch. So again, this provides a good defense against early aggro decks, because of course you can easily trade, and I'm happy to. We then have Bramblewood Paragon. This is one of our first this is like a miniature lord, for lack of a better word. 2 mana, 2/2, and basically each other warrior creature you control comes into play with an additional +1/+1 counter. And creatures you control with a +1/+1 counter gain trample. So basically, as you see, this is the way we're going. We're trying to get 1/1 counters spread out a little bit, and we can get through some trample damage easily. We then, moving on into the 3-drop slot, the only 3-drop we are running is Azuri Renegade Leader. This is probably the most expensive card in our deck. He allows us to regenerate elves for 1 mana, and we also can pay 5 mana and pump up our elves to gain +3/+3 and trample. This is obviously late game swing. You can do a lot of things with it quite nicely. Moving on into the 3-drop slot, this is where we get some really fun things going. We have Imperious Perfect. Other elves get +1/+1, and then you can pay 1 tap and create an elf warrior creature token. We then also have Winnower Patrol. This is from my Legacy Warrior deck as well. It has a kinship trigger, so basically at the beginning of the upkeep, you get to look at the top deck of your library. And if it shares a creature type with Winnower Patrol gets a +1/+1 counter. So because we have elves and warriors, yes, it will trigger pretty much every time. We then, moving on into the 4-drop slot, we are running Dwayne Giltleaf Daen and Lys Anna Huntmaster. Dwayne is a 4 mana lord. She has reach, and whenever she attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking elf you control. So there's a little bit of life gain in there. Can help against the burn matchup, and maybe the storm matchup as well, if you can get things going. Obviously, with the Obsidian Battle Axe on the field, obviously she enters the battlefield, you can gain haste immediately, which is rather sweet. Lisa Alan Huntmaster is a 3/3 for 4 mana, and whenever you cast an elf spell, you may put a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token onto the battlefield. So it just allows us to go a bit wide for the strategy. It's rather useful, just getting in there. And that pretty much wraps it up for our creature base. We then have basically 19 forests in the deck, because we do curve out of 5. and we've only got 2 cards at that level, so, you know, I find 19 Forest is not too greedy. You could maybe go up to 20 if you wanted, but I find it plays quite well, actually, from the little testings that I have done. Moving on into the sideboard side of things, this is where we get some spicy things going on. So, to begin with, the most expensive card in our sideboard, we are running Heroic Interventions. The benefit with this is that you bring this in for game 2 and 3, because they are planning to board wipe you pretty much all the time. It is what's going to happen, but it just allows us to get around. Obviously, Settle the Wreckage and Descend Upon the Simple, which I've never seen, but Settle the Wreckage is starting to see play, so, you know, be wary of that and whatnot. Moving on, we then have Avoid Fate. This is a very special little thing I saw in one of Saffron Olive's video once, and I thought, oh my god, this is insane. It's a 1-mana instant, and you get to counter target instant or a spell that targets a permanent you control. So, basically, if they are going to, oh, I don't know, cast Fatal Push or Path to Exile, you can counter it for 1 mana. This is insanely good. Also, if they've got an aura spell, which isn't really that relevant, but, you know, there are some fringe decks that fly around. And, yeah, you can sort of stop that one as well, which is rather sweet. We then have a Display of Dominance. The reason why I've got this in here is to get rid of some black and blue pain in the bum planeswalkers. Tend to work quite well. You can also make it so your permanents can't be targeted, which again can be useful, it depends on the right circumstance. We then have Feed the Clan. The reason why I've got this in here is main light gain. I have found sort of the burn matchup and the sort of storm matchup that do go for you, and this just allows you to gain 5 life on the fly. Hell, if you've managed to get an Obsidian Battle Axe out and you've got a creature that's power 4 or greater, getting casual 10 life for 2 mana. Very sweet. It can shut down some decks quite nicely. We then have 2 Seal of the Primordiums. Benefit with this is that you can pay 2 mana, it enters the battlefield as an enchantment, hard to interact with, and you can sack it to destroy a target artifact or enchantment. So, you know, if they're putting up walls or the prison deck, or they're taking things with Detention Sphere, this allows you to get around that. It also allows you to target artifacts as well, which is really sweet. We then have 2 Beasts from Withins. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 beast creature token. I've got this in here for the Tron matchup. Try to keep them off Tron as long as they can. We then have Creeping Corrosion. Just a single one. This is just to destroy all artifacts. This is for the Affinity matchup mainly. And finally, to round things off, we have Leyline of Force. Basically, a 4-mana enchantment, and if it's in your opening hand, you can play it in immediately at turn 0, and your creature spells can't be countered. This is to go up against the control matchup. Just allows you to get your creatures down and avoiding things like Stubborn Denial, Spell Pierce, Essence Scatter, all those horrible little counters, and because no one likes blue players anyway, let's be honest. So that wraps it up for our first ever Deck Tech Tuesday on a budget modern series. One thing I'd like to know is, let me know what you think. You know, are you interested in me doing budget versions of archetypes that are in modern? And if you are, what archetype would you want me to look at? Because, you know, I've got a couple ideas sort of thing for the next one, and it's going to be interesting. But yeah, if you leave a comment below of what archetype you'd want to see, I'll put it up for a vote on Twitter, and then whoever gets the highest votes between maybe a deck that I can think of and a deck that a deck I like the look of. So that is it for this week's episode. I have been your host, Jordan, and I am signing off. Thank you for watching the video. Please remember to hit that like button, it supports the channel for free. Also subscribe, and remember, if you don't want to miss any videos, hit the bell icon right next to the subscribe button. Thank you for watching again. Goodbye.